What was Hulk Hogan like in the locker room?
Excellent. When we first came to WWF, I could see there's always been an attitude with NWA and WCW. There always was like a pecking order. There were always like, and you know how Ric Flair used to always say, oh, with the shoes and the watch. That's how it was like portrayed. Even Crockett portrayed it like that.
It's a shoot.
Crockett actually could like walk down in front of, walk by you and look you right like you are to me now and not say good day. And then the next day he would say, oh, hi, how are you? But that was the attitude. Right. Whereas as soon as you went there, here was the top dog, Hulk Hogan. We had never really met him before. And Tampa was actually the first time at the Tampa arena. And first thing he did, he came straight up to us, introduced himself, says, hi, I'm Terry, not Hulk. I'm Terry. How you do? Great to have you guys. And that's the top dog by far there saying that. So then we knew straight away we were in a different environment here.
Right.
And if your top dog sets that example for everybody else follows suit. And that's how it was. There was a big difference in that.
And one thing too, he would be injured real bad, something had happened and that. The doctors, he'd have someone come to the dressing room, he would go out. Right. He's not one of those guys like we've been around for a long time.
Right.
All of a sudden there's something wrong with him, and the guy on top would just pull himself the car. I can't come tonight. Terry knew that if he didn't go there, that house would go down. He would, no matter what it was, right. He would be there and work, and he'd go out and do everything. We see him laying there, couldn't hardly walk, and the doctor come and fix him up, give him something or other. He'd go up and work and then get back to the dressing room. He was,
Right.
Well, lots of guys like that.
Right.
Good attitude.
Yeah, but today.
Yeah, I know. Well, today it's different.
Today,
different era.
The houses go down. We've been lots of places where we've got $200,000 houses. Guys don't show, come because of a little thing wrong with them.
Right.
Twice like that, the house is down to a $80,000, $60,000 house. To get it back up to $200,000, it doesn't happen like that.
Mm.
People have been screwed. The public have been screwed. They bought that ticket to see that guy.
It's true. What is Ultimate Warrior like? What was he like outside the ring?
He was. We were very friendly with Ultimate Warrior because we were there when Sting and him came into as the Blade Runners,
right.
Came into Watch's territory. So we knew him from the start when he was very, very green, but huge. He was a massive guy. I mean, he always had a great body. That was his thing, right? But he was massive. He was like near 300 pounds.
Biggest back that
Luke and I have ever seen. Sting would walk to the ring first with the Warrior behind, and they had the camera behind Warrior. You couldn't see the Sting. His back was massive, like a huge, V. And he had a good attitude with us. He was a different type of guy. Now with us, he was talking just like that. But when what I didn't like about him was not with us, but when he was the WWF champion,
right,
and if he was training in the gym or something, because he was one of the guys really that came to wrestling so he could train. Really, he didn't come to wrestling just to make money or anything else. He came to make money, yes, but not. He didn't come for the love of it or
right. He was in for the money.
He was in for the money, right. and so he could train. And if a kid came up to him in the gym and asked him for an autograph or something like that, he would actually tell him right. And instead of just saying, well, listen, I'm going to be finished here in 10 minutes time, I'll give it to you then, because he's the world wrestling champion.
Right.
And Vince always told the guys, which even if you were a bad guy in those days, when we first went, just before we went there, you didn't have to sign. But
right.
Vince always said, I don't care if you're a good guy, bad guy, you work for WWF, you sign. But he had a bad attitude there. So he did have a bad attitude with some people, with the fans, and he had a bad attitude sometimes with dealing with new guys, with inexperienced guys. He forgot that he was there one time too.
Right.
So yeah, I can see he would be one of the guys that some people would say had a real bad personality. We were lucky. We got on great with them, and so I can only judge it by that. I hate to say.
We were there one night though in Texas when Rick Rude gave him the wake up sign.
Yeah.
Phoenix or Texas and that, because he was working with Rick Rude, and Rick was the one that helped get him over. Rick was a hell of a worker.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just didn't do a lot, but what he did, and he had the people.
Psychology.
He had psychology and that, and this night he just came back on the ropes, and when he got sick of getting that clothesline in the throat, we came back and boom, popped him right on the beak.
Who were some other guys that were difficult to work with or you had problems with in any other promotions? Anybody in particular? Or?
Problems with working. No, not really.
We didn't have many problems
We
anyway,
haven't
mate.
really had many problems with them. There's a lot of guys you'll find that if you let them run over you, you know, they will. But more so today than it was. But we've been lucky right throughout our whole career, actually, to be perfectly honest, because even today, working independent shows and everything else, we work against a lot of young guys who obviously want to do more than what we do
Right.
now because they're high. But they're great. They have a good attitude. They have a lot of respect, and we haven't had a lot of problems like that. I think. I think if you talk to them right, and we always want to help them. That's the thing. We never want to go out of the match, and never have actually. Even though our style might have seemed that way, sometimes on TV you did have to sort of look like you were marching over them, but we didn't do it like the Road Warriors did in Atlanta. We were killing guys. We can honestly say, I think both of us, that we've never had a guy who can't work the next day for what we've done purposely or
Right.
whatever like that, because we haven't been that type. And I think that helps us now. I think guys, and we always help them. We always want to help them. We want to help, because it's a business. We were there one time.
Right.
And so that's our job now too.
Yeah.
Not only to go and make money and to let the fans see us and entertain the fans, which is very important, but it's also to help the people we're with. And I understand in these independents, I understood in Vince's territory especially and everything else, we were working with a lot of inexperienced guys, but it's your duty to help them. They're the next scene coming up. That's the next thing, So I think it's great. And so I think we've got a lot of respect back from that, which is cool.
How were you guys let go by the World Wrestling Federation? What led to your departure?
Actually, we weren't. We made a mistake again. We were kept on hold and everything else,
Right.
and we were on a salary and stuff. And we actually gave our notice, which Vince wouldn't accept for at least a few months.
Wow.
And then we ended up walking, which was a mistake, and I think was never really forgotten, because Vince doesn't like that,
So you guys don't have a good relationship
Because
right now?
well, Vince, yes, we do. We have a very good, but he never wanted us to go.
Right.
We had an opportunity to go to WCW, and Vince didn't want us to go because it was at the time where WWF wrestlers were going to WCW, and they were ridiculing Vince. They were rubbish, and then Bischoff was making and
So Nitro first started, probably.
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly
96 maybe.
right.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's about when it was. Yeah.
And he wouldn't let us go. Okay.
He wouldn't let us go. We asked him we said, we've got an opportunity, Vince. He said, listen, I can't let you guys go. They'll do something to
Throw in my
discredit
face.
you or to throw in my face.
Throw in my face.
That's how it all went. So, from there it went blah, blah, blah. In the end, we had to say, Vince. And by the time we'd got Vince to accept that we're going to leave and get a release and everything else, then, of course, Bischoff said, well, listen, we've had you booked for 3 months, 4 months, and we can't, so
All
we
right.
don't want so we blew it there.